Okay, we are live. Welcome everyone to our fourth workshop panel for ASEAN Say Series second edition. ASEAN Say is brought to you by ASEAN Youth Organization, Amazon Web Services, and Scape. And today's session on ASEAN Ready Gig Economy panel, and we have a bit of a hands-on workshop here, will be conducted by Max. He's the founder and CEO of Upskill Cycle, and their vision is to enable a digitally inclusive society where there's equal opportunities for everyone to work, learn, and strive in their career. All right, I'll now hand the time to Max. Max, take the stage.
All right, thank you, Jaren. Let me share from my screen. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, okay. Thank you everyone for joining this, and for AYO to actually give me the opportunity to talk about upskill cycle and also what I'll be presenting today. So okay. Yeah. So what I'll be talking today will be talking more towards what is low code and no code. So I'm not sure does anyone knows about it. Low code and no code is basically talking about how you can actually use a tool or software tool to create products or services around it to make it easy for you to actually start from your design stage up to your creation page or to getting to your customers to come in to use the thing. So during the whole process when creating and building the thing out, you don't really require a lot of people or developers to actually come in to actually help you to build it, because if you can learn about you can take about half an hour or 30 minutes for you to learn it, and you can actually build the thing out directly, as long as you have some process on what do you want the person or the users or customers to use on it. So this is actually the things that we're talking about for today. So okay, so as mentioned, what is low code? Firstly, low code and no code, most of them are mostly visual based. They allows you to use it and pick it up very easily. Meaning, if you have learned how to navigate YouTube, if you know how to use Photoshop, if you know how to use those visual-based softwares or design softwares, low code and no code softwares is similar because they focus you as an end user to use it and design it in a way that your users or customers might be using it. And as mentioned, this does not require you to actually have to engage a developer, which will take months or years, probably months, to create your product service. Especially if you want to get it out and running, you can get it out and running within less than 1 week or probably lesser, as long as you know what is your process, what type of design you're looking at, how do you do it from your end. Yeah. Next. So these are all the various types of low code or no code platforms. I'm sure you have heard about Wix, you have heard about Shopify, and various other low code and no code platforms. So Bubble is actually quite a well-known low code platform too, which people use it to train, to test out, to build softwares, to test out on how to use how to present it to people, for people to actually use. Like example, it can be as simple as like a membership website. It can be simple as like a education course, online education course. So those are very useful for them to use local and no-code tools. For today, I'll be talking more towards using Webflow. Webflow is a design-based software, and it actually allows you to get started and create a website very easily. And you usually are more visual-based as well. For Zapier, it's more of integration. So this helps you to do a lot of integration work. That means you can connect to your email, your CRM, your appointment management systems, your ticketing systems, or anything that is related to integrating between multiple systems together. You use Zapier as a form of way for you to connect them up together and serve it out through your local or no-code too. Yeah. Okay. Any questions before I proceed?
Yeah, Max, perhaps you could share with the audience, both on Zoom and on live stream, how would these platforms be useful and how can they, pick these skills up? Would that help them to participate in the gig economy? could they be qualified as developers if they pick up these softwares? How would that benefit them?
Okay, so for people who actually use local tools, there's a difference between both of them. One is people are pure designers. The other one is they have some knowledge about design, and the other one is actually people who are developers who use low-code as a form of way for them to leverage on themselves because they can build something build something that doesn't require a lot of effort in building it. So when you actually come in, right, you are like best in both worlds. So you are involved in the design aspects as well as the creation or software development aspects as well. So you use that to prototype or create prototypes for people, for your customers, for your clients on using low-code and no-code tools. So one form of example is like you have an online course for people. So you will create a website using Webflow or Bubble or Wix to serve it as a form of your image or your way of your business card. So your backend will be involved in like connecting up with learning management systems like Blackboard, Teachable, and various other course providers that actually has like a learning management system, and you integrate it together with Webflow. So this is actually one form of how you do it for people. Besides, you're creating a basic website for people to use and to shop on it. But instead, you actually are involved in the design and the software development to test out the type of your ideas, and you can serve it to them as fast as a few days or as simple as like half an hour with it. Yeah. Did I answer the questions on this?
Yeah. Okay. So I guess really today's sharing that you're going to bring to us on this low code, no code platforms would really be useful for those who want to do development work and also designers who are not equipped with the technical skill sets and they can still build a decent website, right?
Yes, correct. A decent website or decent proof of concept for people to use to test out their ideas as well.
Okay. So for them to stay with us for the next 30 minutes, to have the end in mind, if they have learned the skills that you're going to share later on, to be attentive in your workshop, how much would they probably be paid on an hourly? How much would that be for them? I mean, if they're going to be a Webflow developer or designer.
In terms of the fixed cost, about $3 or above, depends on what's the project specifications like. So example, like website, right? Aspects, the collection or landing page, and various other components that you can charge for as simple as $50 up to $500 per website, or maybe more, depending on what are the things that you provide to them. So Webflow is really a good thing that you can actually control. You can build the website out very easily, as well as you are focusing more towards the design, the process, the branding aspects of your customer, for your customer, and for them to actually use it as well.
Okay, great. Thanks, Max. Oh yeah, please carry on. Thanks. Looking forward to the second part on the workshop. Yeah, thanks.
Right. So as I mentioned, how does low code and no code affect your business? So one of the key aspects is more towards the costs. So for a normal software project, it will cost about 5,000 or more, or to get a developer to actually come in and actually build something for you. And sometimes it's very hard for you to actually find a developer for it. So through using low code or no code softwares, the costs can be in terms of month like $10 or $20. And from there, you can actually test out your idea within a few days or few minutes as well for you to test out. And it's very low cost. So you do not need to focus on oh, I need to get an engineering person or a software developer for you to build it out. And yeah, it as conventional software development project, right? It ranges from 3 months up to a few years. So, like example, just a basic website, it can cost it will take about 3 months for them to do something. But through low code and no code, you can get it up and running as it can be as simple as a few days, a few weeks, as long as you have the content, the process of how to do it, and yeah, and the design aspects of what you need to do it to create the product. So this is actually one example of a process of a voice call, voice assistant. So for example, people wants to make an appointment with you. So you want to automate the whole process for it. So you have the process in terms of people picking up your calls, how would they want to answer, so on and so forth. So here is like a more of a drag and drop kind of thing. So you through using local and no code tools, you just drag and drop it on the process that you want to do it. So this is actually a very good example of how local and no code works as well. So as you see, it's more process driven, and you can actually customize it according to your needs as well. Okay. Any questions regarding about this?
No worries, Max. You can carry on with it, and then towards the end, about 5:40, we have Q&A for all. Yeah.
Sure.
Thanks.
Right. So as I mentioned, this is the traditional way of development. So on the left, it's more of how this is all the jargons that in the industry it talks about. So this whole process on the left, it can range from 3 months to even years for a conventional website, and it costs a lot of money. On the right, it's how you will look at in terms of local and no code. So firstly, you'll be doing all the planning, designing, the process that you need to do, and once you actually test out on your idea, your content, whatever, you can deploy it very rapidly, and you can constantly change it very easily because of the speed where you can actually deploy it. You can actually test it out a few seconds. So when you can make some changes, you can have it to your customer or users who are using it within seconds or within minutes. So this is actually the process of how local and no code development works compared to a traditional software development aspects as well. So I'll be showing you a basic demo about how you'll be using a low code and no code solution from my end. All right. Sorry, one moment.
Yep. So as Max is going through demonstration and teaching us how to set up a simple landing page on Webflow, if you have any questions, feel free to leave it down on the chat, and then during the Q&A, we can raise it up. Yep. To those who are non-technical, from my understanding of what Max shared, it's a very easy tool to use. As simple as you use Canva for your designs, right? So if you have used Canva before, these Webflows should be something you're able to pick up.
Sorry, one moment. Yeah. Right. Right. So now I'm actually using Webflow. So this is actually how it looks like in a website. So in terms of for you to actually use it, this is all pre-built design. So it allows you to actually use your website very easily. And if you want to publish it, it's very simple. You just publish it, and after a few seconds, it will be published. Just one moment, it's a bit slow probably. Yeah, it's a bit slow, right? Maybe my internet connection. There's something wrong with my internet connection. All right.
Max, so how
Yeah.
do we get started with this Webflow, and is this a template or something? Like how do we?
So this is actually a template for Webflow. So I'll be just going back to a basic template for you. So this is Webflow. So when you come when you come in as a new user, you'll be greeted with this whole page for it, and you just need to actually create a new project. So as I mentioned, there's the one that is shown just now has is a template that I've used. It's a free template. So for Webflow, there's a lot of free templates and paid templates for you to actually get started with it as well. So you can actually you can look at in terms of what are types of things that you want to use for. So if your project is more towards e-commerce, you look at getting those e-commerce templates, and from there on you make changes to it. For these aspects, I'll just be selecting some templates for just pure from the free templates over here. Okay, so these actually are the various free templates as you see over here. So from here, I'll just actually select something that I like or I want. For example, I'll probably be playing around over here, probably this one. This is a basic blog website. So for me to actually use it, it's very simple. I'll just use it for free. And I create the project from here. Yeah, it's loading. Right. So this is actually a template as well. So for you to actually make changes to it, right? Over here, these are all the navigation bars for you to actually make changes to it. So here is the pages site. We'll be creating a new page. Okay. Sorry, never mind. I'll just use an existing page then. Right. So so I could actually make changes to it. Like example, I want to make some changes to the height of the person. Yeah, you can make changes as well. So if you look at it this way, it's it's very intuitive and it's very design focused as well. So these are all the things that you can make changes to in terms of the sizing as well. So I could click on 140, 280. So there's actually some spacings as well. So this is actually one aspect as well. So let me go back to creating a simple blank page then. Do it this way. Yeah. So I'm just be creating just a basic blank page. All right. So this is a blank page, as you've seen over here. Okay. So for you to actually make changes to it is actually usually for Webflow, there's multiple pages. So you can create multiple pages as well for this. So you will create a multiple page, like example, I'll call it landing page. From here, there will be okay. Here is the components. Okay, so here's the components. So this plus sign, right, has all the various components for you to actually drag and drop. So as I mentioned, right, previously, that it's all very visual based, and Webflow does cater for you to actually to create like it does provide some pre-built components. Like example, like this one. Okay, and I can drag and drop, and these are pre-built components for it already. And I could actually make changes to it as well. So for example, I do not like this. I could just delete it away through my just by deleting the button. I'll have something like this. So it's mostly very intuitive and it's mostly very design focused as well. So normally for Webflow, right, you'll actually you actually drag and drop the container over here. So container is like a very small placeholder or a place for you to actually drag and drop different various types of components. Like example, your headings, like example, your videos as well. So this is actually where you can just drag and drop. It's really very easy. And in terms of navigation wise, these are all how you can arrange your layout, you can arrange your how you want to present the design as well. First, for example, right, if I want to actually move this video component to at the top instead of being at the bottom, right? I'll just go to navigation, which is over here. I just hold onto it. I just drag it to the top, and that's it. So this is actually how it looks like in terms of the layout as well. So it's really designed based upon how you look like, and you can make changes to it as well. So this is currently in the desktop mode, but I can if I want to look at how does it look like in the tablet mode, I just click on tablet, and this is how it looks like in tablet. And if I want to look at in terms of how it looks like as a landscape mode, I just click on this. It will just show you on how does it look like in the various layouts and forms of it. And this makes it easy for you to know how does it look like and for you to design it in a way that people it's easy for you to know as well. So this is just basic layout of it. But if you want to know how does it really look like on a website, you can just click on this eye thingy. It will just show you how does it look like in an actual website when you actually publish it for people. So it makes it easy for you to have a direct feedback about, oh, I should make this color maybe red in terms of the heading. So I'll just make changes to the colors as well. So on this left panel, or background, I could change the background to say red, and it will make changes to it. And I could actually look at how does it look like. Oh, okay, so this is actually how it looks like in terms of the colors. It's very easy for you to play around with it as well. Yeah. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm actually trying to actually teach you how to create a basic landing page, right? So I'll just delete everything over here. You can't include it. So the first thing I'll actually put it in will be the container, which is the main place that where you will be putting your arrangement, and it will be adaptable according to your website, or you're maybe viewing it from your mobile phone. Okay, so I'll be actually creating I'll be dragging and dropping pre-built components as well. So for this, I'll just put it here. Oh, wrong. Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, so this is actually the subscribe form over here. So whenever you go to a landing page, the first thing that you'll be looking at is in terms of how do I look at the content and how do I subscribe, right? So I could actually drag and drop those pre-built components and make changes to it. So for this example, I'll just drag and drop it. So this is how it will look like for landing page. So this is your component. This is your content on how you'll be doing. This is your videos, which you can actually make changes to it as well. Let me double click on it. Yeah, so you can make changes like example, something like this in terms of arranging to make it look nice, and I could actually preview it from my end. Oh, this is how it looks like, and I could at least have a subscribe form as well. So it's very easy for you to make changes. And also, if example, I feel that over here, this portion, I feel that it makes sense for me to actually add in a photo or picture over here. So from here, I will I will scroll down and look for a photo portion over here. So I found a photo or image component. Let's just drag it and let's drop it. So currently it's positioned over here, right? So and now I just need to check about how does this navigation works. How is it arranged? So currently this is outside of your whole rich text box, which is this one. This is a pre-built component that I actually drag and drop it. So for me to actually put it inside here, I just need to go to my navigation and just drag it according to where is the portion. So I want to actually put it maybe say under maybe before this paragraph, right? I'll look at how it looks like in the navigator. So it's over here. I'll just shift it all the way here. Oh, that's great. Yeah, something wrong with it. Yeah, but yeah, yeah. Forget it. Something's wrong. Yeah. So okay, example. I'll just put never mind. Yeah. So I can make changes to it lah. Yeah, to it. So this is pre-built. So I need some changes to it. So for example, I'll just be I'll be dragging and dropping the changes lah over here. So okay, so I'll be dragging and dropping my paragraph over here. So I want this to be in the middle. So this is actually where I actually arrange my image to be in the middle. So this is the margin, which is if you want to test it out and try it out, you can just click on this and you'll just show it, oh, okay, this is about 220 pixels away from the left side. So this is not something I want. So I could just go back to it. I will increase it by dragging by holding it and dragging it to the left or right. So I see maybe 1240 looks nice, but because of this, it's actually quite tight. There's not enough spacing over here. I would like to have some spacing in the middle. So I could actually go to here, which is the padding. I could actually increase it. Oh, okay. Yeah, from here, say 30 or 40 pixels. So this is actually how it looks like over here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. Since sorry, I'm very bad at pronunciation. Jazz is asking me in terms of what are the types of hard skill and soft skills that is required to participate in this skill economy, right? It's very simple. First, the first thing that you need to know is in terms of your knowledge of the tools that you need. So for example, in this case, right, this is you need to know how to use Webflow or to make changes and design changes to it as well. So you need to know your tools. Second is you need to position yourself. What are you special in? Are you good at say in this case it's Webflow, right? Are you focused more towards creating a landing page? So you'll be learning all the aspects of how could I build a good landing page using Webflow, or how could I create a marketing page or marketing campaign that can actually generate like 5,000 sales from this marketing campaign. So whenever I engage you as a person, I know that okay, you are specialized in creating landing pages. You are specialized in creating certain marketing campaigns as well, or probably marketing designs or certain things that helps you to stand out from the crowd. So that is a the marketing aspects of yourself. And besides your technical skills, which is your design is very important. Your marketing, how do you write very good copy and so on and so forth. And thirdly, is how you manage your projects. Like example, how do you communicate with your customer? Do you do you manage them by actually telling them, okay, this is actually the list of things I have. So I have A, B, C, the things I have, and I'll just communicate with my customer. How does this work? Does this make sense for you to go for A, B, and C? So this is more towards your project management aspects as well. And those are the three things that you need to know. One, your technical skills, which is in this case is Webflow or design skills. Second is your marketing skills. How do you market yourself to form your own niche? It can be as simple as I'm building a website for TikTokers, people who want content creators who are building their channel on TikTok. So they need a sign up page. So I'm building that for them. Or marketing, or people who are doing marketing. I'll be the one who actually doing toys, so on and so forth. And lastly is your project management. How do you communicate to your customer? How do you manage them in terms of how your project management skills as well? Does that help to answer your question? May I know, Jess? Yes, no? Yeah.
Yeah, I think the part of project management later on after Max, we have a session from project Kelvin from Project Management Institute. He'll be able to share more about project management as a skill set you need to prepare yourself for the ASEAN gig economy. So Max, would you like to carry on with the, maybe wrap up on your demo of this? Maybe you could share, because I know we have we don't have much time, so you could share with them how they could learn more about this, and we can proceed to the Q&A segment of this session. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So I'll just carry on, wrap it up very easily. Right. So for example, as I mentioned, you have a lot of layouts as well. So it can be as simple. So you can actually drag and drop the various content. So let me delete everything. So okay. Right. So when you drag and drop it, so this is the content or your container. So this is our layout. So for example, you want to just do a basic landing page, right? Just actually drag and drop it. Yeah. So now you can just publish it directly. And you should be able to, okay, now it's actually published. So when I go to here, I could just key in my email. And just click subscribe. By rights, I will just receive a message from, yeah. So it will be something like this. Yeah. So this is how you just create a website within less than a few seconds or few minutes. So this is actually very bare bone, but when you do a design, you'll tell you more about it as well. Okay. Yeah. So this is actually very simple subscription form. So you could actually talk to me, or you can talk to me or email me through info at, I'll just put in my email address in the chat. Yeah. So if you want to know more about, correct. Yeah. So if you want to know more about Project DAS, upskill cycle, you can actually drop an email to me, and I'll just tell you more about how you should look at in terms of a gig economy, and how would you build your portfolio, and how would you participate in upskilling and knowing how to play around with something like Webflow and learning all the information of it. All right. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Max, for the short demonstration on what Webflow is. Seems to me it looks a lot like maybe more of a Photoshop kind of things, and similar to other platforms like WordPress, where there's a front-end editor. You can just edit the text, fonts, placement of images, contents. Okay. So
it's very visual based.
Yeah. So more visual, more front end kind of interaction, right? Okay.
Yes, correct. And also, if especially it's very useful, especially you are process driven, so you have a list of how you want your process to be like, and you can translate it into using low code and no code to build those to solve those problems based upon your process outline. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we have a question earlier. Now we move on to Q&A part. Sai says, he asked if coding skills essential. Is there, necessity to learn like coding skills? And if so, what are the kind of platforms apart from Webflow, which I think you did share, and also what is the best language? Is there a best language for coding or easiest to pick up? So these are some questions. Yeah.
Okay. Let me drink some water. Okay. So for coding skills, right? It ultimately comes down to what do you want to do? Do you want to do a mobile app? You want to do a website? You need to know what are you looking at in terms of for coding skills. So in terms, and from there you actually pick the language. There's no right or wrong thing. There's the only thing that you want. The only difference, or there's no right and wrong, or in terms of the programming language you'll be using. The only difference is that what are you planning to do with it, and how are you gonna earn money through it. So are you planning to be a freelancer? Are you planning to be a full-fledged software developer in a Google, Netflix, so on and so forth? So you need to know what is the type of company that you're looking at working towards to work in, and also the language that you want to use it. So Google has they may be focused more towards Java, Go, Python, and so on and so forth. But it comes down to what you want to do, and you need to look for it. In terms of resources, there's a lot of resources to help people. So one of the resources is what people call Free Code Camp. Free Code Camp is basically a non-profit. They provide free online course bootcamp materials for you to actually learn the various programming languages to use. The other one is called Code Academy. So it's actually it's a very interactive experience on how to use it. Is it possible that I share to show them the
thing? Feel free to, yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So as I mentioned, free code camp is one of it. So it actually gives you for free those. So the material that's being taught over here, right, it's equivalent to coding bootcamp, which you pay like $10,000 or $20,000 just to learn. So whatever the materials that you learn, right, that in a typical coding bootcamp, this actually is put online for free for you to get started to learn. So whenever you learn from it, you can actually build software from it directly. So it teach you about, example, web design, your front end, your various aspects of things that you do. So these are all the different aspects or specializations you can do as a programmer. So they will just provide you for free and you just learn from it from there. The other one is actually called Code Academy. Yeah. So this is more of an interactive experience. So you can actually explore the various learning path of it, and from there you can actually play around with it in terms of a very simple and easy learning experience as well. The other one that is actually quite well known or quite useful is called Udacity. Udacity is where a lot of companies or it's like MOOC. So basically, it's mostly universities, and they actually provide you a lot of curriculums and various types of things. So in terms of like programming and software development, it will just tell you about what are the things that you want to do. So example, you want to build websites for a living. So you can go to a full stack web developer course, and you can learn it directly, and you will just be taught on how to create a full stack website from it. So these are all the various aspects like that. Some are paid, some not paid, and yeah, YouTube is actually a very good place for you to do it as well. So for me, I started learning learning things like example so I started to learn a lot of my programming or skill sets from these YouTubes like this. Yeah, it can be a 1 hour, 2 hour thing for you to actually learn all of this knowledge and understanding. So YouTube is a very good place for you to learn as well. Yeah. Does that help in answering your question?
Yeah, I've actually enabled the function. If anyone want to ask questions in person, feel free to unmute yourself. Yeah, so I guess Max, you did have about close to 10 years of experience. Maybe you could share with some of the folks who are not so technical but intending to move into taking the technical route or wanting to be a developer, aspire to be one. What would the stepping stones be like? There's some kind of fundamentals they should pick up in and if they are even some of them might be entering a college. What are the kind of skill sets they need to prepare themselves with? Yeah, in terms of coding. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. The first thing it will be very subjective to you. Firstly is the change in mindset. So software development is a continuous learning experience. So meaning you're required to learn something every day.
So what do you started off with maybe 10 years ago? I'm assuming, right? Given that, yeah.
So for me, actually, I started to learn Java programming through trade school. So it's called ITE. I'm not sure does anyone knows about it, but yeah, it's a trade school. So they teaches you the skills and knowledge to become a programmer. Basically, that it's the same equivalent as what people call coding bootcamp, but for my college is vocational institution or trade school. It takes me about 2 years just to learn all the basics aspects of it. Yeah. So that's how the difference lah. Yeah, in terms of what it was 10 years ago and what is now lah. You can learn to become a developer within 3 months, but after that 3 months, you will still require yourself to learn continuously from that point onwards after you graduate.
Okay, so it's kind of like all other disciplines that you pick up. You still need to continuously practice, learn that lifelong learning kind of mindset.
Yes.
Well, given the very fast pace of technology, improvement, innovations along the way. Great. Thanks for that, Max. So I think there's some other questions here. Xian Wei asks, for gig workers like delivery riders, safe distancing ambassadors. Okay. How would I think this is more a local question. I believe he's from Singapore. He mentioned how do NTUC help gig delivery riders to earn a living. I think maybe I'll take that. Yeah. So I think every country has its own kind of policies to protect the gig workers to extent. I think to things like ensuring that their health or well-being is taken care of, or even to things like insurance for gig workers, given that they are to some extent, if you're in a corporate, you're in a company, you have like corporate insurance, etc. Some of them, because of the pandemic, have no choice but going into doing freelance work. even like Grab delivery driver riders here, you say they do need some kind of protection. And I think some of these policies in place that we can learn from one another. I think each country has its own unique point. As of NTUC, I'm not a representative of NTUC, so I can't share much. But if I'm what I've at least know, I think there's for freelancers, there's like a community that they can go to reach out to. So I guess like if you were to ask me what else can they do, I think one thing that I would like to propose, or maybe just share from my opinion, is that let's not think as gig workers, freelance workers as a standalone. Let's think of them as a collective, right? Because of this pandemic, as a business owner myself, we actually lose a lot of talents from different industries. And when talents are lost, be it they are, foreigners going back to their hometowns, locals who probably out of job because the company they were in are unable to keep them. They have to unfortunately retrench them. But if they are willing to pick up skill sets, and in fact, if gig delivery riders or drivers coming together, you can actually service a lot of sectors, right? To e-commerce when it's booming now in all parts of ASEAN. You can actually look at coming together as cooperative. So there's a very interesting structure if you look at this thing called cooperatives. It came from Europe back long years back, and it's become and in parts of Southeast Asia where individuals coming together to serve a particular purpose. If you are having a orange plantation, you're having a fishery, you are running farms, you can essentially help one another as a community. So if delivery riders, drivers included, comes together, you can offer services at a base rate. And I think business owners are more than happy to pay. And that also helps you to secure some form of income apart from just relying on Grab, for example. So I think there are some that I know. I think if NTUC could look at this aspect together, because we do have very limited talents, right? Everyone is looking for similar talents, and then we ended up in a way, I wouldn't say the word fighting, but more towards like trying to convince them to join you at a rate where you think you can afford, and someone else pays higher, they may then take them over to your company. I met a couple of business owners, and delivery riders nowadays are demanding, not non-locals, they're demanding from $2.5K to $3,000 per month just to do deliveries, right? And I think there's so much ways we can look at. It's not just about having more delivery riders available, asking everyone to do that, but it's more of like optimizing it, right? Because each company probably only have like, maybe this company A has deliveries only in the morning, and in the afternoon, then and these are opportunity costs, right? So riders could have done some other works in the afternoon. So you could actually have a shared workforce kind of structure where you can match these gig workers to fill the gaps in the respective companies. And I think at the it requires a tripartite relationship, a partnerships here. So government can't do anything on their own. You need the companies to come in to say, you know what, we do have these needs. Can you help us? Then also gig workers collaborating and supporting in the aspect of the economy. Yeah, so I hope that could be a good suggestion on how you think, not just in Singapore, the Union, NTUC, but maybe in other parts of ASEAN, you can think about how you can better uplift, the gig workers, and also giving them a higher income that also translate to even more disposable income, which then they can funnel in back to circulate the economy. Yeah. Okay, so any other questions from the floor? I think another question, how can we upskill workers, right? So I think today Max just sharing about Webflow. So you have design skills, some very fundamental kind of tech. You don't really have much. I think you can do a decent website for sure. Other kind of skills, I think that there's so many skills that you can possibly pick up. But one of the best ways that I look at as someone who really truly believes in lifelong learning, I also want to know what's coming up, in the coming years, what are the skill sets is in demand in the labor market, and then you pick up such skills, right? Because there are 1,001 courses out there. You don't want to spend so much time learning, but then again, you realize you don't really have much value to bring in there, or you may not be the best. So I think the best is to play on your strength. And I think because you asked this question, I mean, just want to just show this slide, which I prepared for another event, but I think this may be relevant to you. Yeah. So I prepared this for some of other events, but essentially, ASEAN organization has always been thinking of how can we create a more inclusive society where we can enable youth mobility and prepare them to be future ready, right? So these are some of the things. These are reports that are already available out there on the internet. You can Google, you can search for them. But essentially, how would the future of work affect us in ASEAN, right? So 5 out of the 10 countries, Cambodia, Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, will probably lose half of their jobs by 2025 due to automation. And essentially, skills that are needed in this Asia Pacific region is really artificial intelligence, big data, cloud computing, and of course, there are many other things you need to learn before moving on to such areas. And these are things you can look at trends, look at what's in need in the labor market, and then you work backwards if this is something that you're interested in. And you work on your skills, your strength itself to build those skill sets. And there are many things here. I think what Max shared, and I hope he did share a little bit more on how his project, I think Project DAS and Upskill Cycle do include people who are disabled, and not as well to do as the rest of us to get onto Zoom today to learn. He's been working with people with disabilities to teach them how to use this Webflow to serve the corporates and then earn a living. And there are many other aspects of ASEAN that you can look at. Essentially, if you want to also see the rising trend, you may even look up on this. If you look at Euromonitor and then Bain, they publish about globally, these are some of the sectors you may want to look at: energy and resources, food systems, industry and logistics, cities, financing. These are some of the areas you might want to look at and see what are the skill sets required to succeed in these industries. Right. Okay, so I think that's about it that we'll share for this segment. If any other questions, feel free to drop us a note in the survey form. So I'll just share the survey form we have here. Right, so you may feel free to scan this QR code, go to this link to give us your honest feedback and hope we can improve the subsequent session. Right, so if you have any questions, feel free to leave it into the comment segment at the end of the feedback form. Okay, so we're at 6 p.m. now. We will be proceeding to our second workshop. Do join us in the next workshop here. Feel free to register at cdsr.co/ASAY05. We have Kelvin Giles. Okay, I'll just end this session now. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for participating.
Thank you, everyone.